Hi guys, welcome back to My Club's Fanfic. This is it. This is probably the last fic before we hit into this four new fics that I'm gonna introduce you. I'm gonna introduce you to those towards the end of the video, so stay tuned. Anyways, we're down to the last fic. All the original fics that I have done, and I will complete that project. But there will be some extra fics that we're gonna do that I will have to read. For now, let's read the last fic, the last one shot. So yeah, this is the fic called Of Misunderstandings and Serenades. So this will be definitely the last one that I'll be reading before we hit to the four fics that you're gonna look at. It's I just spoiled it out. But anyways, let's read this one for now. Okay, so we got a modern college of the universe. We have mutual pining, and misunderstandings. Hence that title. Alright, let's read this here. Lance will be the last to admit he might, maybe possibly, have a crush on Keith Gunn. Strong, confident, hot, gentle, one of his close friends and a bartender shares local bar. Okay, so maybe he's got to think like that, but he's not about to mess up their friendship because he can't keep his dick in check. He's just waiting for a sign. Unfortunately, when he gets it, he thinks he might be too late. Oh, there's some times might be going on here. There might be here and there. So yeah, let's get started with this fic. I have no other words to say. Let's go. Okay, Of Misunderstandings and Serenades. The music is a dull beat throughout the bar. Pulse of classic rock, melodies and rhythms and voices that bring sense of nostalgia of childhood. Of listening to parents' music in the cars, it fits the decor. All the old memorabilia and 80s vibe that clings to the old wood panels of the walls. The air has a strange smell of old leather, whiskey, and the crackling edge of wood smoke despite the fact that there's not a fireplace inside. The scent of cigarettes drifts through the bar. Clinging to the clothes of the smokers, they come in from outside. At first, Lance has been sure Shear's bar would take off, not in a college town and not this close to campus, not with its old rocker vibe. Turns out, he was very wrong. The bar's become a huge success, drawing in hipsters, punks, and all sorts of strange combos of students from all walks of life. Turns out classic rock is an era of nostalgia for me. Turns out Shear's bar is just good enough to draw in big crowds on Friday and Saturday nights. Maybe they come for the decor, maybe for the vibe, maybe they come for good drinks or the daily specials. Maybe it's the game room, maybe it's the open mic nights, maybe it's the hot bartenders and the chiseled bar owner. Doesn't really matter why. When is they come. It's Friday night and Shear's bar is busy, but not too crowded. It's still early in the night that students are just starting to trickle in. It'll get packed by 10. For now, it's manageable. His friends are squeezed into their usual booth in the corner. It's tradition to come to the bar most weekends, to hang out and detox from the stress of their busy weeks. Maybe they come for discount drinks because they got the friends and family discounts. Lance doesn't want to admit he might come for the hot bartenders. Doesn't want to admit that might be why he's not at the booth with his friends. He's sitting at the bar, off to the side where he won't be in the way. The leather of his stool is soft, and the swivel of it is smooth as Italy rotates his hips back and forth. He leans forward, one elbow and forearm resting atop the bar. The fingers of his other hand wrap loosely around half-empty beer bottle, trailing through the condensation gathering on the glass. His eyes follow Keith as he slides a card through the register. As he closes out the tab and rips off the receipt before slapping it down on the bar top in front of the card's owner, along with a pen. The signature is barely finished before Keith swiping it up, sitting at the back with the others. He then takes a cleaning rag and moves back to Lance's corner, begins wiping down the bar top that hasn't been touched since he was last here 2 minutes ago. Lance thinks it might be the cleanest part of the bar. Did it tip? He starts. Nothing we're calling a tip. Lance gives it an emphatic glance. Ouch. Not really surprised though. He looked like the typical douche canoe. Keith shrugs, eyes automatically scanning the bar for anyone trying to get his attention. Maybe if you had boobs, or maybe you had smiled more. Keith's eyes slap back to him. Face blank and stare flat. It's wholly exasperated and amused, and has Lance smile tugging his lips upward as he lifts his bottle. Yeah, you're right. Smiling ruins your whole dark, sour, and mysterious vibe. There's a pull at the corner of Keith's mouth. A tug so slight, a tilt so subtle that he wouldn't have caught if he hadn't spent so long staring at Keith's face. If he hadn't learned how to read the slight changes in expression. The tails that crack his indifferent mask. He's not sure when it happened, when he got so good at reading him, but he's grateful for it, proud of it even. He likes to think Keith is too. He doubts anyone else would notice in the dim light of the bar, in the shadows beyond the neon lights that run along the tip of the shelves above the bar. He doubts anyone else would see the slight lift of Keith's cheeks, the tilt of his eyes as he squints just so, the little crinkle of his nose, the way his bottom lip thins out just barely as he stretches beneath his piercing. I thought it was tall, dark, and handsome, he says, voice a little rumble, private and amused in a way that has an embarrassing shiver running down Lance's spine. He grins, bottle pressed against his bottom lip as he says, now you're just fishing for compliments, Kogani. With a wink, he takes a long drink before sitting back down. That barely dare smile stays on Keith's lips as he glances down at the brown bottle. He places his elbows on the bar top, leaning toward and flicking the bottle with a finger. One of these days, I'll get you to drink real beer. Real beer is overrated, he scoops, rolling his eyes at the age-old agreement. Ciders are sweet and delicious and have the same alcohol content. I don't see the reason to punish my taste buds just to look like a hipster. Keith snorts, eyes squinting at the edges. Hipster drinks PBR. Craft beer is completely different. You're such a beer snob. He means for it to be a playful insult, not familiar back and forth. He doesn't mean for it to sound so fond. Doesn't mean for his mouth to soften. Keith's mouth search his, dark and calm, strangely thoughtful. He opens his mouth to speak, and snaps shut with an irritated wince as someone shouts down the bar, slapping their hand on the counter. What's he look like? He draws, eyes never leaving Lance. His gaze flickered past Keith, eyeing the patron who's currently trying to get either his or Matt's attention. Matt, however, is wrapped up on the other end of the bar. They both know Keith will have to get this one, but not before they set down their bet. Lance on top of it. Kinda like you, to be honest. Leather jacket, hint of a flannel beneath, dark hair slicked back, stubble, hints of tattoos that have your cool piercings though. Lance's eyes flick back, watching as one of Keith's eyebrows shoots upward, the one decorated by a gleaming silver barbell. He doesn't question the compliment though, just turns over his shoulder to get a look at the guy and waves vaguely to him, so I don't know he'll be right there. What's your bet? He asks as he turns back to Lance. He lays his finger against his bottle, held to the side to get a good look at one of the biker two in his face. He's gonna go for a whiskey and coke. He lifts that dang eyebrow again. Lance hates how it draws attention to that piercing. Hates how good he thinks it looks. He hates how it brings his attention down to Keith's mouth and the metal that looks tantalizing against his lips that are currently stretched upward to a small smile. Really? Lance shrugs, taking a sip to steady himself. Clear salt. Guy's literally trying to impress his date, and he's totally gonna go for the rugged and classic cliche. She's gonna get a vodka cranberry. I'm with you on the vodka cranberry, but he's gonna get an IPA. Seriously? Yeah, he's going for the, what did you call it? Dark, sour, and mysterious vibe? His lips curling wider, and Lance wants to deny the curl of warmth in his chest. He's trying, but failing. I doubt he'll go for a real liquor. He's been a drinker and thinks IPAs are cool. Ah, Lance nods cynically. A hipster in punk's clothing that pulls the chocolate out of Keith. It falls from his lips like honey, and Lance eats it up. You don't seem very impressed by his rocker exterior, Lance leans forward, smirk on his lips and fire at his chest. Fueled by Keith's amusement, their banter, and something he's always been afraid to name. Could it be that Keith Cogney, emo extraordinaire, isn't attracted to his own kind? Keith snorts, but his mouth never fades. Eyes light with mischief. He hasn't learned back to it. So slouched over the countertop to Lance. Barely a foot between them, as private as they can get across the counter in a crowded bar. My own kind? Yeah, you're a breed of dark, sour, and mysterious men. Grown-up emos. He who wears leather and probably has pictures of his motorcycle as a profile picture. Probably right next to a picture of him flipping off the camera. Probably has a stash of eyeliner and, I don't know, fingers, gloves. Keeps goose, but there's no hint. Leave my gloves out of this. Never. And don't get me started on your hair. He leans back, straightening off the counter. He tosses the rag over his shoulder and makes himself look busy by straightening up and organizing whatever is beneath the counter. His eyes are on the task at bird distance. And to answer your question, no, I'm not attracted to my own kind. Oh? A spark of interest hots in his gut and tightens his chest. He leans forward a fraction more on the edge of his stool, lowering his voice in a mock whisper says, So, what is your type? He aims for casual innocence, curiosity at most, a tease for good measure. He hopes the pound of his heart, or the way his leg bounces, or the way he's gripping his bottle too tight isn't noticeable. Keith's moments slow as his eyes drift around the bar. His brows aren't pinched, nor are his lips pursed. Not the way he does when he's being more thoughtful. He sure only takes a few seconds for Keith to answer, but feels like hours. Dorks, I think. Lance blinks, confusion pinching his features. That isn't at all what he expected. He shrugs, finishing up whatever he had been pretending to do and wiping his hands. His gaze remained averted, in a way that's not quite as casual as he clearly wants to be. I like goofy guys, I guess. The kind that look good, know how to dress, but aren't obsessed with it. The ones who can have a good time and can make me laugh. Guys who aren't embarrassed to do what they want. Smart and kind and gentle, but still keep up with me. Usually that ends up being dorks. Nerds, I guess. His heart beats loud in his ears, painful against his ribs. He has to swallow past the lump in his throat, mouth feeling incredibly dry as he says with his price. That was a more thorough answer than I was expecting. He shrugs, the curve of a smile on his lips as he finally meets Lance's eyes again. I've had time to think about it. He steps to the table once, pointing to Lance as Ziri walking away. Get ready to give me another point. You're not winning again, Cogney, he says, gesturing with his phone, where he's been keeping track of how many bets they've got right so far. I'm feeling lucky tonight. Keith's smile stays with him as he turns to the disgruntled creatures, and Lance's heart threatens to choke him as he downs the rest of his drink. There's a nervous energy humming beneath his skin, a buzz in his veins, a shake in his hands as he sets the bottle down, because Keith's type sounds extremely familiar. Sounds like something that could fit him. And that makes it sound like he has a chance, which is far more he ever thought he had with the great Keith Cody. Bad boy with a heart of gold, top student, ridiculously soft with animals, confident leader, strong, kind, cocky in a way that made Lance's blood boil and set his heart alight. He never thought he'd get a chance with someone like him. Now when Lance is just, well, Lance. But this had sound pointed. This had sound aim. Ready, aim, fire. Lance is shot through the heart. Bullseye. Maybe it was a hint. Maybe this is exactly the sign he's been hoping for. Chance. A leap of faith. He doesn't want to ruin what he and Keith have. But if this is the push he's been waiting for, maybe. Just maybe. Moment catches his eye and he glances up to see Keith looking at him from across the bar. Pointedly lifting the beer he just cracked the lid off of. His lips curl into a amused smirk. Label turns so Lance can clearly see that it's an IPA. He sets it in front of the guy, along with a vodka cranberry for his dates, before he turns open up a tab. And because he's not paying attention, Lance lets himself stare, lets himself look evil, all the way his jeans cling to his sides and cup his butt, at the way his button down stretches across his shoulders, at the way his arms flex, at the low ponytail that holds his hair back. Okay, so maybe Lance can admit that he finds Keith attractive, and maybe he can admit that he's fought this for the past year, ever since Cheryl introduced him, and maybe he can admit that he might have a teeny tiny crush on him, but he never thought he had a chance. Now he is so Keith, and he's so Lance. But with this new piece of information, delivered with the shy kind of thoughtfulness of her eyes and the solid adoration that makes Lance think he was speaking of someone specific, well, he might just stand a chance. He does stand a chance. Tonight, he's feeling lucky. Tonight, they'll stay until Keith's shift is done. And they'll talk and go look at stars, and Lance will finally ask him to hang out just two of them, like a real and official date. Matt steps up to Keith's side, slides right on up to lean back against the counter while Keith punches information to the register. There's a smirk on his lips, playful and teasing. He says something Lance can't hear, and Keith sniffs. Even from this distance, Lance can see the blush creeping up Keith's neck, settling on his cheeks. He watches them speak in hushed voices. Matt laughing, Keith shoving impatiently. Matt stepping away before swinging back, bumping their shoulders together. He sees Keith smile as he walks away, eyes downcast, eyes distant, and it feels the lump in his throat sink like lead into his stomach. Feels like nausea as the buzz in his veins turns sour with realization. Or Lance won't do any of those things because he doesn't stand a chance. Not when Matt is there, the biggest dork of them all, smart and kind, fiery and quick-witted, exactly what Keith likes. Able to pull smiles from him, able to make him laugh. Lance gaze drops to the empty bottle in his hand. There's a bit of taste at the back of his tongue, a churning in his gut, something black and twisted in his chest that feels familiar. He was stupid for getting his hopes up, if only for a moment. He should have known better. He is gonna need a stronger drink. So they're at the bar. Okay, Soshir owns the bar, whatever it is. Everybody waits in for the party, and they're pouring drinks, pulling out tab, something. And Lance saw this Keith just standing on the countertop, just drinking whatever he's drinking. Keith and Lance saw the biker and his crush, and they say what they're gonna order. So Lance predicts that yeah, they'll have to, but Keith has a different one, and Keith's right. He had the right drink. So the biker guy got the IPA, and his crush got a vodka cranberry. So he's right. He's very smart. He's very predictable on what they're drinking or something. Yeah, cool enough. But he likes some of the stuff. Let me see what he wanted to like nerds or being Google dorks. Wants to know have a good dress, someone that can make him laugh. He's not afraid to do whatever takes him being embarrassed. Smart, kind, gentle. Wanted to keep up with him at all times. That's just what description of what his type is. Yeah, he's looking for all that stuff. We'll definitely get into the sentence and hopefully that will definitely work out. But for now, it's just them is just sitting at the bar and just having a conversation. And the right person, maybe? Who knows? Alright, let's move on. Okay, so he can explain. He just wanted some caffeine, okay? Just wanted to stop by this cute little cafe and get some coffee and sit alone while studying for his test at the end of the week. While sitting in the seat where he has the perfect vantage point to stare at Kate and Matt across the room without being noticed. And so what if he had previously been planning on going to the library to study with Hunk. So what if this change in plans was last minute and not entirely thought through? It was the allure of caffeine and coffee that got to him. It has nothing to do with the fact that he saw Keith Matt at the cafe when he rounded the corner, and all the time spent outside, trying to nonchalantly look through the window. That was him deciding if he really wanted coffee. It had nothing to do with watching Keith and Matt staying alive, talking and playfully shutting each other. And right now, their table is just in his line of sight. Coincidence. Totally. Not planned at all. So what if his class notes had been touched and he's just been glaring across the cafe at them, eye twitching every time they laugh, stomach twisting uncomfortably every time he sees Keith smile, inside shrinking every time he watches them casually touch. Okay, so maybe he has a problem. He doesn't want to have a problem, but he does. It's just why Matt, of all people, why not someone Lance doesn't know how he can blindly hate? Why did it have to be someone who's basically like family? Lance can't hate him, even if every time he laughs, his jaw clenches. Even if every time he smiles at Keith, his fists curl tighter until his nails bite into his palm. Even if every time Keith laughs at something Matt says, Lance can feel a blind hot rage surge through his veins, churning, solidifying to leave his stomach. It's not like he has a claim on Keith. Keith is his own person and all that. And it's not like he ever told his friends how it feels about Keith, but he thought there was like this unspoken thing that they understood. Besides, since when Matt interested in Keith, they're both leaning into the table, elbows on the surface, heads turn as they bow over a piece of paper between them. Keith points to something, and Matt follows along. Their hands so close, their heads close. You can see them talking. Sees Matt's soft and kind smile, but you can't tell what they're saying. He's got Keith's back to him. Doesn't want to see what kind of expression he wears. Why is he here? Oh God, he's an idiot. He's just forcing himself to watch something that'll just make him angrier, make him more upset, make him. Oh God, he's Chelsea, isn't he? He's Chelsea. Matthew Holt. He absolutely lifts his coffee cup to his lips, taking a sip. Frick! He jerks back as the hot liquid burns his tongue, scrapes his chair against the ground, hits his knee on the table with a muffled grunt of pain, slams his cup down and spills more over his hand, hissing at the sting. You can feel his eyes on him. You can see the heads turn out the corner of his eye, but his eyes snap up, finding one table in particular. He doesn't seem to have noticed. Head still bent over the paper on the table. Matt, on the other hand, is looking right at him, sitting up straight, eyes wide in surprise, lips slightly parted. They stare at each other for a long moment, and Lance can feel the heat surging to his face. Then Matt tears his gaze away, glancing at the keyboard, leaning back and pulling out his phone. Lance's phone buzzes in his pocket a moment later. What are you doing here? Getting some coffee. Is that a crime? Are you watching us? Don't make me sound creepy. This isn't creepy. I swear. You're sitting across the room staring at us. It's pretty creepy, dude. And I know you knew we were here. You looked right at me a second ago. Okay, so I didn't want to interrupt your little date, whatever. Date? You're clearly on a date, man. You can't deny it. And Keith, really? All the guy likes are wolves and knives? Who's into those things? And he has a mullet. Who the heck has mullets anymore? I mean, he's great if you're into the dark and mysterious bad boy with a heart of gold type, but who's into that? Ew. Sounds like he's your type, huh? What? No, I am not into Keith. He's all yours. Have at it. Have fun. See if I care. Go canoodle or whatever. It doesn't bother me. He hops as he sends it, slamming his phone down on the table and crosses over his chest, glaring across the room. He's not being childish, okay? This is perfectly normal way to sit. He watches as Matt looks at his phone, blinking before looking up at him. The expression is strange to blank as he looks at Lance, eyes sliding to Keith. Slowly, his lips curve into a small, devious smile. He scoots his chair around the table until he and Keith are side by side. He points to the paper with one hand, making vague gestures as he talks. But Lance can't hear him. He can't read his lips at this angle. What he can see, however, is Matt leaning back in his chair as he pores over the paper on the table. Watches as Matt slings his arm over the back of his chair, nonchalant but clear in his tensions. Lance hates the dark feeling twisting and burning his chest. Ready to choke him with bitter tar. His phone buzzes, and he picks it up, glaring at the text as his stomach sinks. I guess you're right. If Keith was your type, you should have made a move by now. Oh boy, guess Lance should have said something and should have gave that little feeling to Keith. But too late because Matt is there. Oh wow. Remember, Matt is definitely a perfect thing, but there are some misunderstandings, basically the title of this thing. Because Lance thought that Matt is the perfect person to hang out with Keith and starting on the date. But Lance felt like a little more jealousy of this one, but oh my goodness. What has gotten to Lance going on right here? Oh, hopefully he doesn't have to be jealous of that and just punch Matt in the face or something. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully that was a mistake. It would never happen. It does not happen or happen. Oh boy. I wonder what this next part's gonna be about. I can't wait. Alright, let's get into it. So, Lance lounges on the couch in a halt's living room, leaning against the arm and stretched out across the cushions. Keith sits on the other side, knees curled up and a textbook in his lap. Lance up rests on his lap, but he's not paying much attention to his barely started essay, cursor blinking demandingly at him. He glances over the top of the screen, eyes on Keith. His bangs are pushed back from his forehead with a headband, and it makes Lance's heart do this annoying little flips. It's just not fair. Lance nudged Keith's leg with his toes. What's with the guitar? Keith's gaze slides from his textbook to Lance's foot, before his head shifts to glance across the room to where his guitar case props up against the wall. What about it? He says slowly, far too carefully. Lance knows him well enough to know when he's truly indifferent, when he's carefully neutral. That is tactfully blank and it's suspicious. Seems like an odd thing to bring to a study session. He tries for nonchalance, but he knows there's nothing casual about it. He's probing and it's pretty obvious. He just shrugs, looking back to his text, a pinch between his brows and lips pressed tight. Is that a blush on his cheeks? He's pretty sure that's a blush. Don't worry about it, Lance. His stomach twists uncomfortably. Bile surges up his chest, seizing sour on the back of his tongue, spilling forth in the form of bitter words. I bet Matt doesn't even like music. He blinks, tension and expression relaxed for a moment as he looks up. What? Lance snaps his eyes down to his laptop, unable to meet his gaze as the bile continues to rise. His neck feels warm, but he's not sure if it's anger or amusement. I just don't think he likes music. I mean, have you ever heard him listen to music? He's always listening to podcasts or TED Talks or whatever. He's probably too stiff and bored from music. Across the room, pitch notes. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Lance glares at her, lips pursed tight. She's sitting on the floor with her notes and laptop strewn out across the coffee table and decidedly ignores him as she continues. Matt was that douchebag who learned to play the guitar in high school just so he could sit under a tree and look cool. Oh, he's just douchebag, Lance says with a vindictive smirk that feels out of place on his lips. That's not much better. See, Keith? He's a douche with music. Didn't you do the same thing, Lance? Hunk asked from where he's curled up in the armchair. At Lance's withering glare, Hunk shows his punch and he sinks a little further, mumbling himself. I'm just saying, not the point, Lance grumbles. He risks a glance at Keith, who looks between them in a pinch between his brows. What does Matt have to do with my guitar? Didn't you bring to serenade him or whatever? Lance tries to sound casual about it. He really does. Keith is his friend first and foremost, and if Keith is really interested in Matt, he needs to be supportive. But he can't quite rein in by to his words. He can't quite keep the bitterness out of his voice. Keith stares at him, wide-eyed and startled, and now Lance definitely shares expression. He rolls his eyes, sinking further on the couch until Keith's blocked by his last scream. You guys have been hanging out a lot lately, too. It's pretty obvious he doesn't say anything, and Lance almost wishes he would. He doesn't know if he hopes for a confirmation or a denial, isn't sure which one would make him feel better. But the silence that fills the room feels thick and strained, suffocating with the weight of Lance's accusation. He wishes Hunk would awkwardly refuse it by asking if anyone wants snacks, or that Pitch would derail the conversation with some kind of nonsense about her technobabble, or even that he would change the subject or dismiss it instead of letting it hang in the air. Hey guys, he flinches. What he didn't want was for Matt to come home. Great. Wonderful. Hey nerd, Pidge greets without looking up. Hey Matt. Hey Matt. Hunk says a little more familiarly. So, Lance grunts, with twisting his head to glance at Matt standing in the doorway to the room, leaning against the doorframe, one hand in his pocket, the other on the strap of the bag thrown over his shoulder. Hey Matt, Kate says, already closing his textbook and swinging his legs off the couch. Lance hates it. Hates how he says it. No different than how anyone else greeted him. Yet somehow layered with relief and a shy embarrassment that has Lance's inside strength. He nods, setting his book aside as he rises from the couch. It feels colder already without him there, and Lance curls his knees closer to himself. He was across the room to his guitar case, picking it up and swinging the strap over his shoulder. Yeah, can we? Matt nods and steps aside to gesture Keith to move ahead of him. Yeah, let's go to my room. Morbid curiosity makes him look. Makes him watch Keith's retreating back as he leaves the room. Matt catches his gaze, lips curling to a smirk. Then he winks before throwing his arm casually over Keith's shoulders, guiding him down the hall. I can't wait to hear it, dude, Lance hears him say as they disappear from sight. He frowns, gaze stepping back to his lap. He makes it a full 30 seconds before slamming it shut and setting it aside. I'm going to the bathroom. I wouldn't bother if I were you. Pigeon Boy stops in the doorway. He pauses one hand on the door frame as he turns to her, eyes narrow and one eyebrows. Paige isn't looking at him, but her head is tilted slightly to let him know he has her attention. Matt soundproofed his room a long time ago. He has a tendency to talk loudly when he's in a call with his friends playing games. My parents got tired of him waking them up in the middle of the night with his shouting. You don't want to hear anything, even if you press your ear to the door. He frowns, posture stiff. Who said I was going to listen to them? Bitch finally looks at him, leveling him with a flat stare. Lance sighs and slumps against the door, letting his forehead land heavily against the wood. His arms flop to his side as he groans. Ugh, what does Matt have that I don't have? Several degrees and an IQ that constitutes change status? Pitch suggests. A cool face scar? Hunk adds. An ego that can actually fit into a room? Red hair? Humility and modesty? A ponytail? I don't want to say an actual sense of humor, but you guys are pretty on par there. Gee, thanks guys. Lance was to the door frame. Eyes with me. Lance, buddy, why don't you come sit back? Yeah, whatever's going through your head right now, I can assure you that it's not that bad. Not bad his, but still he pushes himself off the frame with a girl and turns back on the couch, collapsing onto the cushions with a hug. I'm gonna die alone. I mean, probably. Hunk throws a pillow at Paige, which hits her square in the face, muffling her surprise yell as she falls backwards. She sits back up, glaring at Hunk and adjusting her glasses. Lance amidst the way Hunk narrows eyes at her, nodding at his direction. She says, Look, Lance, it's not that bad. Whatever is going through your head, just stop it. Life will surprise you. It already did he mumbles, letting his head drop to the back of the couch, staring at me. I didn't see it coming, but like, I can't blame them. He's all cool and grizzly and a total bad boy, and Matt is smart and kind of funny, and I'm just a boy from Cuba. Lance. Hank moves to the couch, making the cushion zip as he sits next to me. An arm slides around his shoulders, pulling him to Hank's familiar with warm side. You're a lot more than that, and you know it. And I don't think Kate and Matt are dating. Lance goes rolling his eyes and leans his head against Hank's shoulder. Sure, man. He knows what dating looks like. He knows what flirting looks like. And Keith and Matt, they've been pretty obvious. Just give it some time, okay? I think they'll surprise you. I'd rather they kept their surprises to themselves. Hong Kong's thoughtful and anxious, Italy tests free hand this time. So, who wants some cookies? I found a recipe 2 days ago. Me, he says. Also, you should hear this joke my psychic professor told the other day to change conversation style. But he appreciates the attempt nonetheless. He tries to pretend it's just three of them. Tries to pretend nothing else happened. But Kate's bag is still sitting nearby. And his eyes keep drifting to the hallway where they disappeared. Imagine they're in a private, soundproof room. Keith serenading Matt. Matt staring at him all soft and stare-eyed. Keith set his guitar aside to a closer. Lance groans, flopping back on the couch and let textbook fall over his face. Maybe if he hits himself hard enough with it, he'll pass out and this will all be a dream. Again, the misunderstanding is still being plays out. And that little guitar there that Lance assumes that he plays that serenade guitar format. But in my mind, thinking that no, this is not Lance a key thing, but Lance assumes they are dating. But I already knew that this is not for it's not for Matt serenade this one. They're not really dating. Ooh, I don't want to have to get a little spoiler there, but that's not the point. And Lance is just with all that jealousy in his body. It's not that good. All his friends are there, and I really want to have to change something because this is it's going to get worse and worse and worse when to have this situation for who is someone dating you. And all see what description matches what I wanted to do, but let's leave it at that and see where this is going, where the next one is going to take us. He has become one of the couch. Lance, cocoon in his favorite blanket, wrapped up in singing the familiar divots as he spent months cultivating the conscience. Lance, he is not an inanimate object, has no thoughts, no emotions, no reason to feel anything. He's cool as a cucumber, not upset, definitely not moping, totally not wallowing in his own self. Dude! Hung's voice loud now. Closer. He must finally step into the room. You're not even ready to go. That's because I'm not going, Honk. His voice is muffled, but the pill is separated. You're not. Oh my god. Come on, Lance. You had to go. He's next on the couch now, tugging at Lance's blanket coop. He struggles against it, fighting to wrap himself up tighter. But Hunk is far stronger than he is. And with a final hard tug, pulls the blanket away. Lance, come on. He just curls tighter, clutching the pillow to his chest, turns away from his best friend. No! Everyone's gonna be there. I know. It's an open mic night. You love open mic nights. Not anymore. He's gonna be playing. That's the problem. The chest tightens, lungs prickling with an uncomfortable, sickening feeling that sounds like lead in his veins. I don't want to sit there all night and watch Keith serenade Matt. He mumbles into the pillow, feeling a tight burning behind his eyes. Takes a deep breath, trying to steady his voice. I don't want to watch them make dumb eyes at each other all night. And I can't see them kiss, dude. I can't. Lance, you think that Matt, oh my god. He huffs, exasperation fills, but Lance doesn't care. He thinks he's justified in his wallowing. Thank you very much. Matt made it clear what his intentions are with Keith, and Keith, his voice cracks, and he clears his throat. Why taught Shane embarrassment burning? He only hangs out with people one on one like that if he likes them. He used to hang out with me like that. I thought I was special, I, but I guess not. He snips, hating how loud it sounds, and rubs angrily and says, "It's whatever. I'm happy for them. Now leave me alone and go have a." Oh my god. Hunkos, whispering and tired. "I'm going to kill Matt." Then there's suddenly arms sliding beneath him. Screaming up, he yells as he yanks up the couch, throwing on Hunk's shoulder like he weighs down. "Come on, dude. Let's get you dressed." "I don't want to go," he shouts, slamming Hunk's back in half-hearted protest. But he's already feeling the fight to drain out of him. "Keith asked for you specifically, and I promise I make sure you're there." "Why would you want me there? That doesn't make sense." "You don't make sense." Hunk grumbles. Karen lands onto his room before tossing him onto the bed. He turns to Lancer's, digging through it and throwing clothes at him. "He owes me big time for this. Now get dressed. Don't you pout on me. I have to dress my little brother and sister before, and they're just as squirmy as you are. I will do it if I have to." Lance sticks his tongue out at his roommate and watches Hunk's expression hardens. A determined gleam to his eyes. Lance screams and scrambles back as Hunk charges the bed. Not concerned the slightest as Lance throws pillows at him. Oh boy. Oh, Lance is just keep wallowing along, but he's really happy for both of them. Oh, this kind of reminds me for the song "Good for You" by Olivia Rodrigo. That definitely describes to what this one is, but this is college though. So this is what definitely describes it. Oh, this will be awesome. This is amazing. I have to definitely listen to that song. Oh, that will be so awesome. But yeah, Hawk really wants Lance to go there in that bar, back to the bar, because there's an open mic night and Keith's gonna be performing. I don't know what performing. Just only Keith and Hunk wants he wants to tell Hunk that Lance has to be there, just for him, because there's something else that surprise. Again, the misunderstanding part that makes lead to jealousy there. I think Lance might get the wrong idea for that that he's saying Matt. Yeah, might get the wrong idea over there. So let's see how this flows out. Lance steps into Shira's bar begrudgingly, hands shoved in his pockets and shoulders hunched. He's scared against his will, but he has to admit, Hunk dressed him well. He never thought his body would actually pay attention to his favorite clothes and what made him look good. But here he is, in the jeans that highlight his butt and long legs, and his favorite sweater. Hunk leads the way through the tables, headed for the usual booth in the corner. Their friends are already gathered. Laura, Paige, and Romel. He decides the living room for Lance on end. He slides into place, and on the familiar curved boot seat, the crossing is over his chest as he slouches back. "You guys are late," Laura says, lifting her glass to her lips, someone behind it. Her eyes dance mischievously, and he has no idea what that's about. It can't be good. "I'm perfectly had to dress Lance," Hunk says to his side. "He owes me big time." "I'm sure Lance will thank you later," Hitch says with his back. Lance glares at her. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Shh, guys. It's Keith's turn," Ramel says, waving her hands at them as she leans across him. She then plants her elbows on the tabletop, propping her chin on both fists. "You two almost missed it." "And they won't, Hob. I saw Keith waiting in the wings. He was watching for Lance to arrive," Laura says. Lance lifts a brow. "Why would he be waiting for me?" It's then that another piece of information clicks into place. His gaze sweeps across the booth, eyes narrowing on Pitch. "Where's Matt?" Pitch lips curl, eyes gleaming where they couldn't go at the corners. She adjusts her glasses, voice light and casual. She says, "He's out with his girlfriend tonight." Lance breaks, breath still in his lungs. He has a girlfriend?" Fish nods. Yep, she's not a TA in the physics department. They've been dating for a couple of months now. I Lance stumbles, but he's finding it hard to form words. What about shh, heats up, he says, turn his seat and stepping in his arm. Turn around and watch. So it does. It twists in the seat to look at the small stage at the back of the room. Their booth gives a good view of it. One of many reasons they claim it as unusual. He watches the key settles on a single stool in front of the mic. Skinny black jeans, combat boots, soft dark red sweater that hangs low on his collarbones, pushed up to his elbows, revealing his usual fingerless gloves that Lance will never admit finds cool. He clears his throat as he leans forward toward the mic, adjusting it. Hi, this is for someone special. His voice wavers in the subtle way it does when he's nervous. His eyes flicker to their booth, and Lance swears they make eye contact before he looks away. He closes his eyes and breathes in deep, hands adjusting the guitar, fingers resting lightly along the strings, and then he begins to play. Soft chords, a gentle rhythm, a few plucked melodies. He sways back and forth on the stool, one foot propped up on the bottom rung, eyes still closed, leans toward the mic and begins to sing. Lance's mind stalls out for months, fully breaking down and needing to before things begin to make sense. Before it really sinks in that he's not hearing English, but he still understands. He still understands because he's singing Spanish. His accent isn't great, but his pronunciation is passable and is undeniably Spanish. And Lance just stares as his eyes go wide and mouth falls open. Stares at the gentle curve keys drop and the way his soft lips form the words of Lance's mother tongue. Stares as his fingers move deftly across the strings, never once faltering, moments fully committed to memory. Distantly, he hears his friend's soft laughter. He basically sees the moment and hears pictures being taken. He doesn't care. He can't look away from the key. He sings a gentle song, but one that builds. One that builds until the key gets to the chorus. Soft but powerful. A song about watching from afar. A song about being afraid. A song about admiration. A song about taking a chance. A leap of faith. And as he reaches the last chorus, as the last notes fade out and his fingers stop moving, he opens his eyes. The audience claps. A few whistle, but Keith's eyes are on Lance. They hold for a few seconds, seconds that feel like hours. Heat that surges through Lance's chest, melts in his heart and setting a low in his gut. A fluttering butterfly swings, a light's bubbling in his veins. He sees the barest hint of a smile before Keith turns away. Giving an awkward half bow to the audience, he takes his guitar and shovels off stage, heading toward the back room, out of sight, but definitely not out of mind. It takes him a moment to realize his table friends is abnormally sized. He turns slowly, eyes sweeping across them. They're all watching him, grinning from ear to ear, waiting with bated breath, a strange sort of anticipatory tension, waiting for his reaction. I, his voice cracks and his mouth snaps shut. Matt's been giving him Spanish lessons so he could learn how to sing that song, Pitt says, smiling, curling her lips. Matt knows the most out of all of us. Oh, he breathes, looking around his face. They all grin back at him, revealing his surprise. I'm gonna kill him. He taps the tabletop and already signed out of the room. I need a drink. And with that, he's stepping away from the table and into the crowd, reading through people as his mind buzzes and his heart pounds in his ears. His head feels light, and he practically stumbles to the bar, collapsing onto the vacant stool. He orders a cider and stares at that bar top, gaze unfocused and mind distant. Doesn't think, just absorbs. Replace everything in his head, sorts through the past couple of weeks, commits each song to the memory. He is jarred back into the moment as the bottle of cider comes down upon him with a sharp but dull sound. He looks at the fine sheriff, smiling at him. With a wink, he says, it's on the house, before moving on to the next customer. Lance takes a greedy drink, sweet, bubbling, burnt familiar and confident, grounding him in this moment, letting him realize that, yeah, that's just happened. Keith did, Keith, one of these days, I'll get you to drink real beer. His voice is low and close. melting down the words with amusement, causing the shiver to run down Lance's spine. He turned his key cells beside him, rested an elbow on the bar and leaned into it. Turned to face Lance. There's a smirk on his lips, but there's something shy about it, something hesitant. Lance feels the tug of the corner of his lips, slipping easily into the flow of the banter, even if his heart is racing. "I never found a beer that I like," he said, lifting his bottle of cider to his lips. He watches the moment, eyes flickering from his mouth to his face. "I have a few in mind that you might like. We could have a beer tasting sometime." Lance takes a sip. The fizz of the cider bubbles down his throat, matching the buzz in his veins. He sets the bottle down gently, eyes never leaving Keith's as he runs his fingers through the conversation. "Sounds to me like a date." Keith lifts one shoulder. Leonard falls and looks down the bar, lifting a hand to Italy flag downstream. "It could be." His hand falls to the bar top. He keeps his head turned away, but his eyes meet his side. "If you want it to be." Lance tilts his head and doesn't miss the way Keith's gaze slides down the stretch of his neck. "I think I like that," he hums. Keith turns to face him woefully, eyes alight and lips lax as he breathes. "Really?" As if Lance might have said no, as if he could. "Really?" Grins, the giddiness in his veins giving confidence as he stretched out a leg. Hooking up from behind, Keith set the boom floor step. "I really like your song." Keith takes that step forward, his eyes brushing up against Lance's knees. He tilts his head down, gazing at Lance through his lashes, eyes dark and gleaming. "Yeah? Yeah." Lance swallows, licking his lip and tasting the remnants of apple. Keith's eyes flicker down to watch the moment before returning. He leans forward, elbow resting on the bar, lips curling to a smirk. "Your pronunciation is terrible, though. Maybe I could give you some private lessons." He doesn't realize how close they got until he can feel Keith's breath on his lips, until he's lost in the dark ocean in his eyes. "Sounds like a date." "It can be." Lance tilts his head, lighting up their lips, voice slow and soft, catching his breath. "If you want it to be." He doesn't answer, but Lance sees the moment decision is made. The moment something flashes deep and hot in his eyes, before he surges forward, before their lips met. Abrupt and firm, they both relax, before they ease into it, almost shy as they slide their lips together, again and again, push and pull. Keith's hand rests on the cup of his jaw. Lance's hand reaches out to clutch at his shirt. Chin tilted as he breathes in Keith. Gas pulled from him as Keith's tongue runs along the seam of his lips needed. Slow drag. They jump apart as the ball slams on the bar beside them. Sounds sharp and loud. They both whip around to find Cheryl looking between them. The amused smirk on his face despite his best friend an expression monster. "Hey, no more making out at the bar," he says, sliding the bottle toward Keith. "If you're gonna do that, go find a dark corner." Keith lets her. The land slips off the stool. He grabs the bottle, reaching out to take Keith's hand. "Come on, Keith," he says, already stepping away and pulling Keith with him. He gives a salute to Cheryl with his bottle. "We have a corner to find," and Keith follows him, fingers sweeping through her, flush high on his cheeks, but a smirk on his lips, eyes dark and burning, gaze heavy through his lashes. Lance isn't a fan of the taste of beer, but I find he doesn't mind the taste of it on Keith's tongue. Well, pow ka-cham! Yes. Okay. Oh, oh my God, that's so. I could not even resist that one. The last sentence, though, find the taste of that, no, the beer, right on. Wow, I can't, dude, I can't. Oh, wow. Oh my God, that was towards the end of the. That gives a little mistake for it, but it's not real because they're not Lance and Keith. I mean, Keith and Matt are not dating. It was Matt teaching Keith how to play that song, in Spanish because he taught Spanish before, but the way that he's saying in Spanish is not that makes sense. But Lance is very authentic speaking Spanish, but they ended up they just found the one they are looking for and they make that. But Cheryl is aware that hey, you're not supposed to make out in the bar in public. Go find a corner to make that. It was someone else, but nope. This is all about it because Matt is with his girlfriend. Okay, so yeah, definitely gave him the wrong idea of what it is. Yep, it gives him the wrong idea of this. This is not what it looks like. Yeah, because he's not looking for Matt because he's not in Matt. Okay, it was Lance the whole time. It was Lance. Okay. I mean, the writing for this one is very good. So yeah, bringing Matt into this part, that's definitely like, oh, this is gonna be the most challenging thing ever for Lance. But it already happens a lot. I think that's very similar to, Allura, but I just want to step up and give him a little David Allura there. But that makes Lance jealous. You should watch that. I don't know what episode that is, but that's where that scene is coming from. Okay, I think that's everything. That's all the fics that I have read for since July. And you know what? It's August, September. I have read all of the 16 fics, all the regular fics, and before that, 4 new ones, and then the regular fic that I'm gonna take. So the first thing I'm gonna have to do, because we're gonna have a regular fic. So all the regular fic is done. My NSW is really up to date. And now I'm gonna introduce to you what are the 4 fics that I will be reading. So can't wait to see it. So here's one right now. Okay, so the 4 fics that are new, this was updated in August. Here are the 4. One is Drift Compatible. It is a Pacific Rim uprising, and it's friends, not to friends. This is a Pacific Rim specific movie. Friends to not friends to future lovers. They have a past, but they walk through it and mutual finding meaning intention. Very interesting thing. Everything in this fic that Witty wrote this down, they wrote it down back in 2019. That is 2 years ago. So that first one is sure compatible. Okay. Second one is it doesn't have to be weird. It's a post-canon. This is way after this happens with Allura living there. There's mutual thing as well, and then accidental air marriage through some combat challenges. And as you notice, there's going to be a lot of words, so it'll take a long time for you. And third one is going to be I like the me I am with you. So this is the modern Prince AU and there's roommates. Again, my true opinion, they're basically dating, but none of them know it. So King and Lance are dating, yes, but they did not know that they are dating. The whole time, the whole entire time that they're dating. All right, and last but not least is I think I know you. This is a college, and dating Sim, then the Sims, and then bartender Lance. Lance has a bartender, and Benny. Yeah, that's it. Those are the 4 new fics that I will be reading, and again, I might have to do this in non-order for this, in no particular order. So I will start thinking about what this fic is gonna be. So yeah. Again, these 4 here, I'm gonna read this in no particular order. See where I would end up with. Okay. I will now I'm gonna stop there for now. Alright guys. Thank you guys so much for everything. But guess what? There will be 4 new fics that I'm gonna read, but it's gonna take a long time for me to process all 4 of them so that I'll be up to date. And then there will be more than that when it came out. Okay, guys, thank you. Goodbye, everyone. See you on the new ones.